Who is the ideal scorer? A player who precisely optimizes his scoring potential and has perfected the craft. We're not looking for a great scorer. Oh no, we're looking for the greatest scorer. A couple of guys come to mind. Logically speaking, the closer one is to the basket, the greater their chance of scoring is. Well then, that's easy. Let's find the largest, strongest basketball player we possibly can so that we can get to the rim with ease. In that case, the ideal scorer has to be someone like Shaquille O'Neal, but Shaq's astounding mass meant he lacked a lot of speed, and he also had no semblance of a jump shot. And the ideal scorer must be proficient on all three levels, so finishing at the rim, the mid-range, and the three ball. Hell, we can go even further beyond to the fourth level, which is the post-up, and the fifth level, isolation. That criteria siphons the list down to a handful of players, guys who are regarded as the most complete scorers of all time, the elites of the elites. Carmelo Anthony, well, he meets the criteria, but there's guys who are simply better than him. Kyrie Irving is in contention for the best pound-for-pound scorer, but his height limits him. The rest of the NBA should be grateful Uncle Drew isn't any taller. Well, after those guys, only two remain. It has to be Tracy McGrady then. He has all the measurables, plus the ability to score on all five levels. Well, McGrady in his prime definitely was one of a kind, but then a taller, better version of him spawned in 2007. Kevin Durant has access to all five levels, plus he's 7 foot moving like a guard, which already gives him a limitless arsenal. Durant can shoot over any small defender, and his fluidity will exploit a bigger defender's mobility. His talents pair perfectly with his skill set, which the man has achieved through complete devotion to the game. Kevin Durant is a basketball fiend, and the craft has been ever so fruitful for the future Hall of Famer. His days of thunder stretch a decade past to his days as a Thunder. In 2012, the rising superstar cemented himself as a world leader, coming second in MVP voting to the man he'd face in the NBA Finals. The 2012 Finals was Embers versus Inferno. The young Thunder were ill-prepared to face a bloodthirsty Miami Heat team led by LeBron James with nothing but retribution on his mind. But despite the loss, the early tide foretold Durant's approaching havoc. I mean, what an ascension. At 21 years old, he would have been crowned MVP if his competition wasn't LeBron James. Durant is one of 3 players in NBA history with 1,000 games played to average 20 or more points in every single season of their career. And the company he keeps is none other than Michael Jordan and LeBron James, all of the greatest offensive specialists who've played this sport, and KD is in an exclusive trio with none other than the GOATs. Durant is 35, yet the man is still at the top of his game. The difference between him at 25 versus him at 35 is eerie. Approaching a point in his career where the ship should have long sailed, he's still as dominant as he was at his apex. 10 years with practically no drop-off, he's one of the most consistent hoopers to ever lace him up. The accolades are endless. That's Kevin Durant, a decorated legend who's redefined how basketball can be played. This new era of bigs controlling the rock and shooting at will was ushered in by the Slim Reaper. All of his merits on the court make him invincible in that sense, yet all we ever hear about Kevin Durant is everything unrelated to his play. Narratives have driven his career. He's become a prisoner to it. His actions on the court fall to the wayside for what he's done off of it. Kevin Durant became a media pariah in the summer of 2016 after he committed the greatest act of treachery and cowardice the sport had ever seen. On Independence Day, no less. After choking a 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors, Durant seemingly, with no sense of dignity, discarded all his honor by joining the team that had conquered him a month prior. An act so brazen, no one could comprehend what had just occurred. It felt like the NBA as a product had become ruined, because why would you even watch at this point? Durant became detested instantly. There wasn't a person in the world, especially in Oklahoma City, who supported his spineless act. KD became the snake who stabbed his partner in crime, Russell Westbrook, in the back. leaving Russ in the rubble of their defeat while he flipped to the enemy's side. To move to Golden State was an impertinent decision from Durant. It was downright unforgivable. He was exiled from the class of elites, cast as a traitor by those who uphold the sanctity of competitiveness. How could he shamelessly erase parity of the game? You just lost to them. Why? Why Golden State? It could have been anywhere else and he would have been forgiven. But he chose the one team he was forbidden from. Was his hunger for gold so insatiable? Did Durant truly think his only chance of winning was with the Warriors? I mean, that part is pretty interesting in retrospect. We'll delve into that later. You're Kevin Durant, you're 27 years old, far from your twilight. You're a top 3 player on the planet. You can win a ring on your own without 3 Hall of Famers. If you want to be the best, you gotta beat them, not join them. There is no glory in what he accomplished. A part of me does believe Durant saw the opportunity of playing with the Warriors as a delight from a pure hoops perspective. KD, above all else, is a hooper, and maybe he made his decision based on the fun he'd have. And watching the Warriors Def Squad was definitely fun as a viewer as long as they weren't playing against your team. The undisputed best team ever assembled. And lucky for our eyes, it featured one of the prettiest offenses in basketball history. Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson in the Warriors system. I mean, come on now, it's unfair and oddly enchanting. But no matter what KD says, there is no question his perceived legacy played a factor in his decision. His frustrations with Oklahoma City's shortcomings were apparent long before his departure. Many predicted he'd leave OKC because he was hell-bent on winning a ring, and the 3-1 choke to Golden State sealed the deal. KD's biggest crutch was being the constant number 2 to the man who'd been at the top of the game since he'd entered the league. That man was, of course, LeBron James. The only way Durant could ever hope to triumph the king was to sit on his throne, and that pressure weighed on him. Ultimately, that is the most likely rationale behind his next chapter. Durant's narrative unfolded with a complexity akin to that of Macbeth. Years removed from the event, maybe Durant accepted the immediate backlash for where he would stand today. It really pains me to know that I will disappoint so many people with this choice, but I believe I am doing what I feel is the right thing at this point in my life and my playing career. With the hatred towards Durant having mellowed, he's become more favorably ranked. Although there is still the asterisk over his 2 championships, how long will that asterisk remain? How much longer until people completely forget the gravity of his choice? His true zenith was his time in Golden State, and the further we move from his tenure, the more fondly it's remembered. I mean, speaking exclusively from a basketball perspective, it was poetry in motion. That was the best version of KD. When he was acquired by the Brooklyn Nets, the league as a whole released a deep exhale. The Warriors' reign was over, the West was free once more. The Warriors, after the supposed conclusion of their reign, proceeded to win another championship. But that's besides the point. KD was no longer a Warrior, which meant everyone else had a fair shot now. Durant was now a Brooklyn Net alongside former finals rival Kyrie Irving. He had a chance to start anew, reroute the course of his career. If KD could win in Brooklyn, he'd prove it was the Warriors who needed him, not the other way around. And when the Nets landed James Harden, everyone groaned in disdain as this felt like a repeat of the ordeal we just resolved. But injuries derailed the potential of that Brooklyn squad. With the big 3 playing very little together, their championship window came and went, with their chance at glory being a singular moment where Durant and the Nets came a foot short of their renown, or a foot long. Today, at this current juncture, Durant's destination is ever approaching. Maybe the permanence of the end has given the man tranquility, because he seems very content with his current situation on the Phoenix Suns. As of now, they're a roster of 3 essentially, with Devin Booker, KD, and Bradley Beal devouring the team's whole cap space. And for the Suns, they're praying this will all work out because this is a win now or completely implode kind of roster. KD's out in the desert, giving it his all with the Valley Boys. A ring at this stage would deliver the acclaim so many fans have been itching to bestow upon him. Everyone knows KD is supreme when he's on the court. If he needs some points, there's no one better with the rock in his hand. The man is a top 10 all-time player. Forget his damn legacy, just watch him play. For he who was once tarnished only needs one on his own and he's indestructible. But either way, it's not as if it matters to him. Ultimately, the men will continue to score. Well, in that case, who could possibly be more ideal? Thanks for watching.